Are you tired of the same old coloring in routine? Tired of staying within the lines? Have you heard about reverse coloring in? Today we are going to explore a concept that has been making waves in the art field. It's called reverse coloring in. So you might have heard about reverse coloring or even reverse image searching, but this is the technique where you put down paint splotches of color and then fill in the lines later. So adding the color to the page with no rhyme or reason, just going for it haphazardly and however you feel like in the moment, and then going back onto the page, sort of like when you were young and you were laying on the grass looking at the sky trying to make out the pictures in the clouds. Well, this is just like that, but with paint. So what exactly is reverse coloring in? Reverse coloring is, as the name suggests, it's putting down color first and then filling in with pen later. So the concept is taking the paper, adding the color, and then drawing in doodles, in tangles, or whatever picture you want to later. So I decided to get out my paper and my paints, try some splotches, and to see what I came up with. Here we have a collection of a few random brushes, and for palettes I'm pulling out the lids of containers because that's just what I like to use. And I'm using a heavy body acrylic paint for this because you can water it down a lot and still have quite a high pigment value. For paper, I'm using a A5 size 160 gram Fabriano board. I like this paper because it's a mixed media paper. It's not very thick, but it's thick enough, and it's got quite a fine texture to it. I like Fabriano board. It says eco-responsible certified paper, vegan friendly, so that's always good. And then on each sheet of paper, I have framed out the paper with washi tape. Okay, starting this coloring page, I'm going in with purple and I'm just going to throw down the color a lot. It does make quite a mess on your table, so if you're in a space where you need to take it, put some newspaper down first or cover your table, whatever you need to do to protect the surface, and then just start throwing color onto your page. You need to try and not think about the end result too much. This is really hard for a seasoned artist like me that draws first and always knows exactly what's going to happen on the page, because the point of this is to go ahead and just have fun and be free with the process. For these coloring pages, I went in with a few other colors as well. The second one I did in blue, and then tried a bit of a yellow one and a red one, just to try get some different color palettes when doing the final coloring pages. I didn't want to have all the same color, so I tried to get ones that were different. And then also just with this, I laid in the color as thickly as I could. I went in with a lot of water, had to blot it off, and ended up with quite a lot of pools of water, which I think is kind of the point because you want to get the different textures and feelings. And then once that was dry, we can go in with our pen. So I let this dry overnight, and once it was done, it did still end up being very bright, and we'll see how this goes with drawing it in. Here are my dried coloring pages. They turned out really bright and they're quite beautiful on their own. I really like them, and now that they've dried overnight, you can see how pigmented the paint that I used really is. Even though I watered it down significantly, it still ended up being super bright. Here is the first page that I have. Lots of greens and oranges and some purples. It did take me a little bit of figuring out to see what I actually saw in this page, but I ended up seeing, I guess, a tree piece with branches and a little hedgehoggy character type vibe. So I decided to draw in this head character. He has a tail. He actually turned out quite cute. I like him a lot. And he's sitting on this little branch, and I added some leaves. And at the bottom, there was all these little black purple splotches that I ended up drawing in these little birdies. I think that I felt inspired to draw birds because I've been drawing birds to do another video in the future with it. That one's going to be coming soon. So I think that's why I saw a lot of these little bird characters. I'm quite excited for the future video of these birds. Next one that I have was mostly orange and red, and also didn't turn out quite as splotchy as it should, I guess. So at first I struggled to see anything in the page, and then I saw another bird and a little rabbit. So that's what I've ended up drawing here, and it is what it is. Now for the next one. So here's the blue one that I did. I found the blue one quite exciting and inspiring to do. It had a lot of definite shapes that I could find, and I found these faces with like fuzzy hair and that, and there's one with a little puppy in the corner and a dog with a fuzzy tail. So this one I enjoyed probably the most so far out of all of them. Normally, I'm not the kind of artist that draws characters, so this was a good challenge for me, and I found a lot of inspiration with it to try characters again sometime. So as I progressed to the next coloring page, I found that I was becoming a lot more warmed up to the idea of just doodling and drawing scribbles. This one I found very interesting because it had many shapes, and then I found it more comfortable to just draw randomly around the different shapes. So after finding this little, I guess, creature with a horn on his head, sort of fairy tale little creature with wings, and yeah, I mean, I don't even know what he is. That's maybe the point. It's just completely random. And then drawing around all these different shapes to try and figure out more pictures in the coloring page. Finding another little character, and then just sort of going randomly at it and doing random doodle scribbles. So if you're looking for something to have a drawing warm-up with, I would say this is definitely the type of drawing for you. When I got to this one, very orange and yellow, it kind of looked like it was a reflection of sorts with a horizon line. So I went ahead and drew the horizon line and a bit of bushes and shrubbery, and went and drew in the little bits for the bushes, and then again some birds, little chicken looking bird and maybe a peacock, no idea, but also just went around and did some scribbles and some randomnesses. It looks like water, I think, but at the end this was a very enjoyable exercise. I'm glad that I did it, and it really did help warm up my drawing hand and made me inspired to actually do some more and find other downloads online, because there are many other coloring pages available from other artists to download, and I would like to see how they go. So after doing the coloring in, we learned that reverse coloring in is a lot of fun. It's a wonderful way to stretch your creative muscles, try something new, find new pictures that you would not normally have drawn, and have fun in general. It does require a different way of thinking and a willingness to try new things. It does require also some thinking outside the box and some new techniques, and maybe some ways that you would never have thought of. It does push the limits of your creativity, but that's half the fun. In the end, the results are absolutely worth it. It is definitely worth a try, and you yourself should give it a go. So after doing the reverse coloring in, I found that it is an expression of creativity and a new way to find your creative side. Routine and try something new. Everybody needs to stretch their muscles every now and then, don't you think? And who knows, when doing this you might just find your new favorite art form. So what did you think about reverse coloring in? Let me know in the comments down below. Give this video a like, it really does help me out. Subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time. Bye for now.